What's upon it? No.
Boy, propagation is weird tonight. You are barely coming in.
Well, that's a good thing.
And now you're coming in fine. See, it's all over the place.
Well, it's good. That's a good time to be coming in. Clark, 7-3, I got to scoot. W2JTD. I'll catch up with you later, man.
All right. Enjoy the southern tip of Jersey. 7-3 N1BCG.
Right. Bye-bye.
Wow, some good Jersey representation tonight here on 85.
What?
Did you get my text?
When?
For Pete's sakes, you were supposed to say, "Oh my God, that's right. Clark did just text me the bumper sticker at WSJL, so it's for real. He really was there." So that whole story that he told was for real. It's true. Not like any of the other stories he tells. This one actually is for real.
Oh, I see it now. I got it. WSJL, South Jersey's Lighthouse, 102.3 FM on your radio dial. With the lighthouse and the lightkeeper's house on the dunes to the left. Quaint little home. One window in the lighthouse. Looks pretty short. And there's the ocean. WSJL. White background, navy blue letters.
Wait, I'm not dead yet.
See, that's it. That's that was a religious station in a trailer. After the skies parted, the seas parted, it was like a religious experience, and it was a good thing because there's a religious station.
I want the bumper sticker.
What?
The bumper sticker. You have a bumper sticker of some merit. I require this. I can give you an email address if you could forthwith.
I just sent it to Perry and also to Brian to prove to you that, because you said, yeah, go get the bumper sticker. It's like, okay, I will. And I did. I took a picture of it and I sent it to these guys as verification that I really did have it.
All right, maybe Perry will forward it to me and we can prove it. Anyway, no, I'm just trying to be cool. You know, I got a pickup truck and my Hillary sticker got all faded and crap. I'm just looking for something to replace it with.
Oh, it is in brand new condition, which is, I'm actually surprised. It's not curled or anything like that. It literally looks identical to the day that I got it. In 1986, can you believe that?
All right, it doesn't incorporate some stupid logo with like initials or, an arc or something, does it?
Yes, there's initials WSJL, and even worse, there's artwork. There's a picture of a lighthouse. So you're S-O and then L.
Christ, I spent 40 years in that business. Kill me. This ham radio is supposed to get better.
Hey, Paul. I just tagged you in a picture on Facebook. So now you'll see the proof is in the pudding.
The last guy to tag me on a picture on Facebook tagged a picture of Jimmy Durante, so I'm not really hip to going there right now.
Well, it's there. If you want to see the proof, it's right there for you.
All right, cool. Very cool. I'll check it out, man.
I think I'm going to take a bubble bath in vindication right now.
10W40?
Hey, the Bubble Girl story. Remind me to tell you the Playboy model and the upstate New York bubble bath story sometime. Not tonight, because I'm already out of stories, but that's a good one.
Ask me.
Good evening.
West Virginia. We'll have a night, you and I. Clark versus Paul. Who's got the weirdest hillbilly story?
And the Bubble Girl story is the most unbelievable story you'll ever hear, but it is 100% true because I've seen the proof. No, I believe, and then I saw it from my own 2 eyes.
Hot tub. I had to get my video out.
Oh, man.
Hello to Billy, if that was Billy out there.
Yeah, good evening. Clark told the best story today, though. The lightning out of a girl's butt story. Everybody knows it, but I mean, that's my favorite one. W2BTK, good evening.
Good evening. I think that pretty much classifies it. That's good.
Hello, Billy.
Hey, Perry. Hey, Clark. Hey, Brian. Everybody. You know. Howdy.
How's your holiday going?
It's going fine. Kind of just a normal day for me around here, you know?
Yeah. Amen.
I guess Connor's having a problem with his equipment. I'm hearing on the internet here.
Yeah, he texted me, said blow up his amplifier. He messaged me back. I didn't read his messages yet. But pop both fuses. Said his lights dimmed. Oh, man.
Yeah, it might be something silly though. You know, we might be able to walk him through it. Give Clark a call. I mean, he knows how to fix that stuff.
Oh, looks like there's a... I don't know if that's a wire wound resistor. He sent me a picture of something burned up on the circuit board. It's like a power supply board. No, I don't know. It's hard to tell. But no, bummer, man. That stinks. But we'll get him through it.
Yeah. Oh, he says he found a burnt resistor. I wonder where the resistor was though. Like what in the power supply? Like what's going on with that?
Well, it's hard to tell. I told him to take a wider picture so I can see what board it is.
Would it be a soft start?
I don't think they have a soft. An 811 has a soft start.
Sounds familiar to one of the SB220s. Did something similar. It was a soft start board that failed.
Oh, he says, well, I have to look up the schematic, but he says it's R8 on the power supply board.
Yeah, I thought it might be the power supply board. Yeah, I'd have to look at the schematic. Connor, that's an 811H?
No, he's not out there, but I think, yeah, it's a 4-tube 811H, whatever. It's what I've heard.
No, I know. He's messaging me on Facebook, so I figured he was listening.
Yeah. So what's up, Clark? How's it been going out here on 3885? I've been doing other stuff.
Yeah, apparently you've been listening.
Here and there.
Apparently.
The radio club that I used to belong to out there by my parents' old house is on the air right now with their club meeting on the repeater because they can't have a club meeting. It's so I had to come out here.
I get that.
It was all right though. I tuned in for the silent key ceremony for a feller that died with a COVID-19 that was in the club. He's a really nice guy, man. And they played his call out in, Morse code one last time, so I tuned in and caught that. He was a cool guy. I didn't know him that well, but real nice guy.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't want to screw everything up, put everybody in that. That's the wrong vibe. Let's have fun. It's Monday, April 20th. Yeah.
Good evening, and 420 to boot.
I heard Connor.
Someone did. EST.
And someone else too. I got like ST out of it. So really quick, and I didn't get the call the first time. So hello there.
KB2ZSP, good evening, guys.
Oh, KB2ZST. Good evening from W2BTK. Everybody else hear him? Or somebody want to pick him up?
You give me a warning.
Wait, what?
Said you're giving me away already.
Oh no, I just came on the frequency and kind of now I'm like the only one talking, so I realized that there's a problem there, and I was wondering if anybody else wanted to participate in ham radio.
I'm just kidding with you. Good evening, name is Manny Mike Alpha November Yankee. Just wanted to jump in here and say a quick hello and get back to my project I'm working on. Trying to get crazy here. Valiant.
Oh, hear that, Clark? He's working on a Valiant.
Gotta give him some creds for that.
It was slightly butchered. I got a transmitting, but no audio yet.
See that? Baby steps.
Roger. Well, it seems to be okay, but...
Oh, there they go, firing up. Clark, what happened? There was a bunch of activity out here. Everybody was carrying on, and now everybody's clamming up. What the hell?
See that? It's that very short attention span of amateur radio operators.
I think somebody fired up on like 3888 or 89 or something. That's kind of right in the pass band. I don't know. That's kind of weird. There's nothing going on out here.
That's true. There's nothing going on here. That must be what happened. You know what? If you ever need instant entertainment, you call on GCR. Where's Bear?
Bear is pretty entertaining. He was firing up last night, and it was pretty good stuff, gotta say. You know, a lot of banter, a lot of good points though. And overall, I guess if I were to rate the QSO, and I will, trust me, from like 1 to 10, I don't know, it'd be like the really high 7s, you know. I was having fun. We lost power yesterday too. That was no good.
That was a double.
Nice.
Well, it was 10 seconds of dead air. I keyed up, checked, and then keyed back up. And, you know, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do besides that. What did you say, Clark? I was talking about how we lost power yesterday.
You lost power? Why is that?
It went out. Oh wait, no, that was earlier today. Today, April 20th. For like, I don't know, about an hour. It was weird. And I was thinking like, man, I'm glad I don't have like a radio station that needs to be on the air right now.
Yeah, right?
I was here in the shack. I wasn't using any of the radio stuff, but I was on the computer, and then poof, the power went out, and I looked over at like the rack of gear and basically everything in here, and I'm like, man, well, this room is useless right now.
Backup generator.
Come on, Billy. A guy like you doesn't have a backup generator?
Of course I have a backup generator, but you know, the way things go around here, it's like tie some pigtails into the it's all JS, you know. There's a nice generator and tons of wire to hook it up with. Just you know, no ends on anything. We're doing JS's, and I didn't need to get into that. The power was only out for an hour.
The K1GT.
And I missed that call sign. It was somebody else keyed up. I'm listening super wide, you know, up around 3890, and it heterodyned just enough. I didn't get either of you.
Oh, I love a good JS story. N1XP.
November over.
I think I might have doubled, but I love me a good JS story. N1XPM.
It was a double. I hit the November Bravo November, and I heard you too, Bob. I love a good JS story myself.
Yeah, one time. Excuse me. I guess I thought pooped. I went up northern Maine and I blew a power steering pump. And I was like 6 or 7 miles from the main road, and then probably another like, 20 miles from anything. And I blew a power steering pump right when I got there. And there was no cell signal. And we had to get in one of my buddy's cars, drive up on a hill, and call one of the other guys who was on his way. And I told him to bring baling twine and high pressure rubber like hose and hose clamps. And we jock strapped that thing back together. The problem was that it uses aluminum lines. So every time you actuated the pump, the hoses just bent over and kinked themselves. So I had this elaborate network of guy lines propping the hose up in baling twine. And I nursed it all the way home like that. That was a pretty impressive MacGyver JS.
Gotta love that.
Yeah, and MacGyver. That must have been it. I mean, we all watched MacGyver. It makes sense.
Oh yes, MacGyver. That was the benchmark of 80s TV right there. Right up there at the 18.
Yep, doing the impossible.
I went and watched some of that stuff like recently, like I don't know, and by recently I mean like within the past couple years, and I was just like, holy crap, like, because once you kind of like know how, like, all right, if you were seriously gonna do that, like, kind of can figure it out, you're like, wow, like this show sucks, but man, it was so cool when I was younger.
That's right. Yeah, that was a good JS story for me. JSing the power steering pump to make it home. Oh, I've had some, probably some of my finest JSing was on cars. I mean, I've had some good amateur radio JS stories, but they're not as exciting, you know. I actually used fiber tips one time. I blew out the pipe on the muffler on this car I was driving. I pulled into a store and it was a hot version of fiber fix. And I got out of the car and I splintered that thing back together with fiber fix. And I think I drove it for another month before I replaced the exhaust system.
Dude, yeah, I've driven around with some really gnarly stuff, like especially when crap blows up. I mean, but you know who's got JS car stories, like transmissions going and limping around and stuff? Dave VW, man, like holy crap! Some of this stuff, some of the situations that he's described that like he's driven somewhere from, I was like, holy crap! Like, you don't even want to know. W2BTK.
That's because he and his friends can't drive for poop.
What?
Did Clark just say poop? Papa, Oscar, Papa?
I believe it was poop, Papa Echo Whiskey Papa.
Oh, yeah. It's sick. So there.
Skidding it up, doobop, Christopher Reeve.
Humbly boobly zibbly boobly humbly boobly zibbly boppa. Hey, homo, hey, I'm a man, hold a boppa, the boobly, big the boppa, man.
I met Christopher Reeve, and he was very impressed that my name was Clark.
Is it
10 acres driveway?
Get out of here.
When I drove by, yeah, I was going to stop in a few minutes later, but I was like on a tight time schedule, but I did drive by your house. And he had the antenna in front of the open garage door on like a tripod.
Oh, if the garage door was open, then I wasn't home. I was either, yeah, then that would have been sometime in the early, well, like between 9 and 10 or so.
Right, it was probably right around maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yes, I was at the post office and then at the bank at that time.
Well, good thing I didn't stop in. That would have been kind of awkward. Hello? Hello?
That's so funny. Yeah, that's the antenna I've been messing with.
Yeah, I figured. I remember you said you were going to be messing with it, and if you're outside, I was going to swing in and say hi, but like I said, I was on a tight time schedule. I had to get back, and I was supposed to be somewhere at 12. I got back, I think, at like 10:45-ish. And I was super tired, so I pushed it back to 1. It took like an hour nap. Yep. The good old Greenwich.
Oh, that's kind of a shame in a few ways. Sorry about that.
Did you, Perry, when you were there, did you see his Range Rover that he takes out to the tuning shack in the back when he needs to get on 160?
Did I see what?
Never mind.
No, I was in a super deep fade, and I didn't have the sync detector on.
Yeah, the crashes are picked up. Let me see the thing.
I did,
Remember, when you visit an amateur radio elder, you need to bring tobacco, alcohol, or fine beaver pelts as gifts.
I think that was, Bob. Hold on. Yeah, good evening, Bob, if that was you. My noise, I got a little bit of noise here tonight. But I did see the setup Clark built for Rob, for his 160 setup and the loading coils and all that stuff. It's pretty fancy, man. It's really cool, actually.
Yeah, you change your diaper, you'll feel better.
Listen, just because I don't run phase blasters and use loading coils on my antennas and stuff, doesn't mean... Wait, where am I going with this again, Clark?
That's what's called driving off the mental cliff.
Why does everyone in Greenwich live in a hole? Like, you live in a hole, Clark, but you're by water, so that's cool. But like Rob lives in a hole. Everybody lives in a hole.
30 days of hell. That's because only the rich people live on the hilltops.
I live...
Pulling no strings here. You pulling a wool over my eyes.
You see me on top of a hilltop? No.
See, I live on top of a mountain in a hole. There's like literally like a basin on top of the mountain and I'm in it. And isn't that screwed up?
Well,
no, because it's 420 today, so it makes total sense.
Well, it's kind of like what's going on there. You know? It's like you go down in this little holler, you know, you're driving down this real scenic street, and next thing you know, the houses are getting bigger and bigger. Then you see these houses, like Clark said, the bigger houses are up on the hill. And to me, like, all these houses are ginormous. But the more ginormous are, that's a new word, are on the hill. And I guess the peasants, in their 4,000 square foot homes with 3-car garages on the lake, are down in the hole. See, there's a lot more hills than there is here. I'll tell you one thing. I have never seen I-95 so barren in my 32 years of existence. I mean, there was, driving through New York City and the George Washington Bridge, I mean, it was like, it seemed like I was driving in the middle of the night, but it was bright outside.
Good driving, huh?
It was perfect. I literally just had the cruise control on the entire time. The only time I had to take it off cruise control was when I was, getting off an exit.
Man, that reminds me when I used to drive out to Long Beach, New York all the time. I was working at a club out there, and so I'd be coming home, and then I'd usually cut through Manhattan because that was the most direct route. It's just, Manhattan, but it was like, 4:45, 5 in the morning, usually on weekends, and like, man, like the only people who were out were like the ones who were like still out partying as the sun came up, so that was always interesting. But it was also like pretty much like what you described, like driving through, not much going on, especially like going out the Lincoln Tunnel where you don't see another car the whole time. I've done that a bunch of times at that time of night. Not every time, but a lot of the times. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been up to the south and drove that way and went over the George Washington Bridge and all that, but I always remember there being, no matter what day it was, nor the time of day, there was always traffic at the George Washington Bridge, no matter what. And I mean, like, coming through, like winding through, I guess, like the edge of Yonkers there, coming up to the bridge, and I mean, there was nobody. I mean, no one. You could see the skyline in New York City. I mean, like, super clear. I always remember there being this haze over New York City. Because of all the smog. But you could literally see from, like, lower Manhattan, where the World Trade Center were. I mean, all the way up and see all the boroughs and all the buildings. I mean, it was a gorgeous morning too. Not a cloud in the sky. Sun was shining bright.
Hey, Barry, check this out.
Yo.
Usually takes me 2.5 hours to get to the Cape to Boston. Last week I made it in 45 minutes.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I made it from here to Greenwich in about 2 hours. From Philadelphia to Greenwich. I don't speed either. I mean, I'm like 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. It's 55, I'm doing 75. It's 55, I'm doing 65. And I made it in just over 2 hours. And I mean, with traffic, I would imagine it at a normal, at a normal clip with normal amounts of people, it's probably 2 hours and 45 minutes, 3 hours.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice to stay like that? You know it's not going to stay like this, but man, it's awesome, man. Just, I mean, you can cruise, you don't have to hit the brakes. Imagine that. You wouldn't have to make a brake job for 5 years. K1GTX, all right, carry on.
Oh, and since I took the car, I only used a half a tank of gas there and back, 300 miles, getting a half a tank of gas. It was like 300 miles on the nose too. If I took my Suburban, it would have cost me a tank of fuel. It would have cost me over $100 to fill that thing up.
Yeah, but with nobody on the road, it's like you're not hitting the brakes. You could just cruise, like cruise control. You get good gas mileage. It's the best.
Hey, Perry, you're not breaking the bank right now to fill that Suburban either.
I know. I'm not. It's $1.84 in Delaware, and I'm about 5 miles from the Delaware line, 4 miles. So, here in PA, across the street from work, it's 205, I think, 210. Hell, it was 3-something, I mean, not that long ago. And I remember in Delaware when gas was getting down to, $2.39, $2.40 something, and we thought we were doing something, and now it's $1.80, low $1.80s. It's crazy, man. It'll go back up eventually. Everything will equal back out after this is all over, but it's nice while it lasts.
Yeah, we're gonna get pork, but I got an F-350. The thing gets like, every 10 miles is $10. It's like a mile a gallon, basically. But I filled that sucker up, and I was under a C note. That was pretty good. So don't want to get used to it. I wish we could stockpile that stuff, though. You know what I'm saying?
Well, right, and now it would cost me less now to fill it up. It would cost me under $100. I haven't filled it up in a while, so I've been driving it. But it's got a 44-gallon tank, so let me do the math. $88 or $2 a gallon, so it's probably around $80 to fill it up now.
Yeah. Hey, one more thing. All right, because I'm just an interloper here, but I understand that you have a neighbor with a barking dog that's bugging the hell out of you.
Yeah, along with their plasma TV. I've already bought a television. Yes.
You know what I did? Because I had the same situation. I don't know if you could do it, but I had a person behind me, and I set up a 110-watt speaker with a dog recorder, and every time that goddamn dog barked, that speaker keyed up with a remote sensor when that dog barked and barked back. Believe it or not, they took the goddamn thing in. I know it's probably not ethical, but I don't know if that's an option for you, but you might want to check that out, because it seemed effective on my end. K1GTX, so I'll let the frequency roll.
I was looking at the anti-bark things. I better gotta watch what I say, huh? My window's open, and literally my neighbor's house is about 10 feet from mine. I've been looking at those anti-bark contraptions they sell on Amazon and eBay and all that stuff. I don't know how well they work. I don't, so, but I was looking at it because it's brutal, man. Sometimes it's, it's like in the middle of the night, and, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. The one night it was around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I lost my marbles at that point, and called the popos. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to, and there's got to be something against that, a noise bylaw and something. If not, well, then give him a lead treatment. I didn't just say that, but... All right, man, we'll let it go, and good to talk to you, man. K1BTK.
Hey, I'm gonna shut up for a minute. Get my relax on. I'll be back in about 10. I'll be listening. 3 more.
Hey Clark, what kind of gas mileage does that Range Rover get?
I don't have one.
Phil told me that you have a Range Rover that you just used to drive out to your antenna tuner out there and back when it's cold outside and you got to get on 160. Is that not true? W2BTK.
It looks a lot. Maybe Phil does not have a refined eye for vehicles. That's probably what the case is. It's a 2004, do the math, Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Oh, that's really nice though. You have leather seats?
Yes.
What kind of gas mileage you get driving out to the tuning hut?
About the same as a school bus.
Wait, does that thing have a sunroof?
Yes, it does. It's a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, completely stuffed with features. But may I remind you, it's 16 years old.
Wait, so it has like the Bose speaker system and all that stuff too?
It's the big mama of Jeep Grand Cherokees. Like when you get
it full drive,
that clothes come off within minutes.
Damn, homie. Play on, playa. Your 04 Jeep Grand Cherokee with, the heated leather seats and the moonroof and, like all that stuff. Do you have like a yacht towing extension on it?
No, well, I do. But the funny you should mention the towing. The original sticker on it at the dealership said that it had the Jeep tow package, and I didn't check. It just said it was on there. I'm like, yeah, I totally want it. And then when I went to go buy it, they said, oh, yeah, well, it doesn't have the tow package. I said, yeah, but the sticker on the window said it does. And he said, well, that's our mistake. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's your mistake. So the price says it's this, and it includes the tow, so I want it. And he goes, well, you can get U-Haul to put one on for like $500. I'm like, no, you put one on, and you put one on for the posted price. You screwed up. You said it has a tow on it, the hitch, and if it doesn't, then you owe it. And they finally did end up putting that on there because I have a boat. I have to have the tow package.
Yeah, plus there's more than that, man. There's wiring and all kinds of crap that goes with it.
Well, they did put it on there. The funny thing, there is a funny story. I won't do the whole story, but the bottom line is I got into a big argument with the sales guy over that, and I finally had it, and I told him, okay, you know what? Here's the deal. You're really pissing me off. And I pulled out my checkbook and I wrote a check for what I wanted to pay for it. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm writing you a check. And he goes, oh, have you agreed to buy it? I said, I have. But here's what I've agreed to buy it for. And I handed it to him. And he goes, well, this is a lot lower than we were talking about. I said, I'm fine. Tear it up. I don't care. What does it cost me to write out a check? 5 cents? Go ahead. Tear it up. So here's the deal. I don't need this Jeep. That's the problem for you, not for me. I don't need this. So your choice is you either cash the check and then have that damn Jeep tow package added to this thing, and I'll pick it up on Tuesday, or tear the check up, and I'm out, 5 cents and 45 minutes of our time. I don't care. And you know what? The next day, they called me up and they said, your Jeep will be ready Tuesday for you to pick it up. That's the way to do it.
Oh, the salesman must hate me.
Actually, I do need to tell you the other part of the story. I went to go visit the dealership after work, and one of my best friends was working with me at the radio station where we were working together, and I said, listen, I'm going to go deal with these used car salesmen. You know how they are. In about 30 minutes, I'm going to be there talking to them about buying this Jeep. Can you just call my cell phone? Don't say anything, but I want to make it like it's another dealership, you know, that I'm talking with about buying a Jeep. So just call my cell phone like 30, maybe 40 minutes from now. Just give me a chance to get there. And then just let the phone ring, and don't say anything. I'll just pick it up, and I'll just like pretend I'm talking to another dealership. And he goes, yeah, no problem, fine, I'll do that. So I get there, and we're in the middle of this argument. It actually turned pretty ugly over the price, because, you know, the tow package and shit. Whoa! Sorry. Oh! And And then, of course, there's like, oh, well, the price on the sticker is not really the price. There's this and there's that, and then the dealer prep and destination charges. Then we got to do this and we got to do that. And all of a sudden, it was like going up by like $6,000. I was getting pretty ticked off. So then all of a sudden, my phone rings. Like, oh, good, it's my friend. I hope this guy. I'm going to put on a show for this guy. So I answer it. And I always answer my phone on speakerphone. It's just like a habit. I didn't think he was going to say anything. So I pick up the phone. I'm like, hello. And I was going to wait a couple of seconds. I'm like, oh, that's right. Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'm totally interested in seeing that Jeep. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow morning. But wait, that didn't happen. My friend, Bob, decided he was going to get on my cell phone. And remember, this is on speakerphone. And what does he do? He's supposed to be quiet, but oh no. He gets on and he goes, hey, this is Joey from Joey's Jeep Jamboree down here in Jericho, Long Island. Joey's Jeep Jamboree. Listen, don't take what those pirates up there in Connecticut are offering you for a Jeep. No matter what they offer, I'm not going to take $1,000, not $2,000, but $3,000 off whatever them scoundrels up there at that Jeep dealership are offering you. Hey, only here at Joey's Jeep Jamboree, Jericho Turnpike, Jericho, Long Island, New York. I'm like shocked by this. And the salesman who was sitting across his desk, his jaw is on the desk. My jaw is on my lap. I'm like, WTF with several exclamation marks. It's like, this is not the script. This is not what we agreed to. And I hung up. And the guy looks at me and he goes, what was that? And I said, I'm not totally sure, but let's get back to negotiating here. So can you imagine that? All that interference, and I still ended up with that Jeep N1BCG.
That's a great plan, man. You go in there and you got a plan. That's great, you know. But you probably make those people panic. They're not used to having educated people go in there, and then you go on in there, and you probably gave the poor old fool a heart attack.
Clark, those of us who are rebroadcasting this, you know, we might get in trouble.
Yeah, right? And by the way, my friend, that was all he was supposed to do, but he didn't stop at that. So the salesman and I are getting into it again, and now this is when I was like ready to just get up and walk out, and the phone rings again. And of course, I pick it up, right back to speakerphone, and you got it. Hey, Joey from Joey's Jeep Jamboree, Jericho Turnpike, Jericho, Long Island, New York. Listen, you still in that meeting with that pirate up there in Connecticut? Don't listen to him. Don't worry about that rip-off deal that he's trying to give you. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, you know what? These Jeep dealers know everyone. They know there's no damn Joey's Jeep Jamboree in freaking Jericho, Long Island. What the hell? And so I ended up just hanging up on him. And that was the last straw. I looked at the salesman. I said, all right, you know what? I've had it with you. I've had it with frickin' Joey or whatever the hell. I've had it with all of you people. As I said when I walked in, I don't need this Jeep, and that's when I pulled out the checkbook. And, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm writing out a check for what I'm going to pay for this, and that's it. I'm done with your frickin' negotiating. This is it. Cash it. Tear it up. I don't care. I'm out of here. Talk to you later. And that's it. They cashed it.
Honestly, impressive, Clark. Good, very nice.
I should put that down on my N1BCG Storytime stories. You heard a BCG original. I've never told that on the air before.
Oh, you got a free tow package.
Yeah, I've never heard you say that on the air before either, actually. And it's all. I'm streaming right now on Twitch, twitch.tv/sniffmyballs. You want to follow along. Sorry about the name. And it'll be on YouTube later. So you can come check it out. I'll make a Clark Storytime playlist. Screw it.
Oh, great. It'll be there for people to listen to over and over and over when they can't sleep at night.
Yeah, I'll make sure to relabel it. Clark goes off the rails.
It happens an awful lot.
Yeah, we've all done it. Remember that time when it was my foreman's birthday and we went to the bar after work and then I wound up getting on the air?
Those are always the best times to get on the air.
And the worst time for Memorex.
They were the best of times. They were the worst of times.
Yeah, I was lit up. I was very, whatever was on my mind was coming out of my mouth. That was a fun night. Listening to it. Is it live or is it Memorex?
Well, anyway, my apologies to all the tender ears out there. I just that was an emotional moment dealing with used car dealers, and it's very easy to get worked up into a lather.
A frothy lather.
Oh yeah, the hackles were definitely up.
Well, yeah. I was listening to that vintage PSN Monet recording I had the other night, and some guy was talking about, it gets my nuts in a frothy lather.
That's quite a message.
It's good. It's good.
So, or you just kind of like fell off the map.
Well, I'm just sitting here in pain at the 1.5. Oh hell! I mean, oh heck! Oh girl, talk already hit the board on that one. 1.5. It is. Not 1.5 ohms. 3 watts. That is what I got. Air times at radio station W4ITC. And Clark, my innocent little ears.
Well, all right. My apologies to you and your parents who may have overheard that outburst, but I'm glad you're there because you're the frequency 2 to. What would we do without you?
Oh. Yeah, Connor. I'm gonna almost be sad when you get your flex and you get your own place or whatever and throw up a real good antenna, cause I enjoy. It's like you got your rice box audio and your signal, and like that's Connor. It's good. I'm gonna miss it when You sound like everyone else.
Yeah. Except for you, I don't sound like you. Well, now is I'm gonna get my freaking Flex and I'm gonna be pissed weak. Because this amplifier, whatever. I guess, I sent the email with the support, because amplifier is, let's see, the transformer was 4319, and I got this amplifier in, next, control. I got this amplifier in control, so, just keep it. It works better because of the one that I swear. I didn't even broke. It was bought for me by him.
Yeah, but Connor, that's the wrong attitude, man. Like, I'm sure it's nothing catastrophic in that lamp. Check the transfer. Make sure it's unplugged and you short out all the high voltage and everything to ground, and it's real safe. And check the transformer or pull it out of there and see if it's open. If it's not open, you're probably fine. Unless it's something catastrophic like that, like, who cares? We just fix it and get back on the air. Don't worry about it. Like, blowing crap up isn't a big deal, man.
Yeah, I got another comment too, if you can hear me.
Go ahead.
Connor, these guys out here saying that thing's got a soft start, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, doesn't it? It's a basic amp, you got 4 tubes, it's a really simple thing, and just like the other person talking there, just discharge the caps, take a look, check your fuses. Those things are pretty bulletproof. It's probably going to be pretty simple to figure it out. So now's the time to learn and just pull up your bootstraps and go in there and dive in and check it out. And I'm pretty sure you're a pretty smart guy. You'll be able to figure it out. I doubt you did anything major to it. You probably popped a fuse or maybe a cap, and don't worry about it. We've all done it. I just want to give my 2 cents worth. Came with GTX.
Thank you for your 2 cents. So far, I have not taken board off yet. I think I'm coming up on it yet. What's that? I found a resistor R8 is kind of keeping the system off. I'm just see what coronavirus. Yeah. But
Yes.
Pretty nice. Let's see. We got schematic. We got everything I can see. That's it around, people.
Alright, tough copy, Connor, but I just want to let you know, don't worry about that soft start stuff. It doesn't have it. It's a basic amp. Very, very basic. And, obviously check your fuses first. Look for maybe a burnt trace or something stupid like that. And check the fuse caps and everything visually that you can look at. Of course, be careful and, ground those tops of the caps off to the case before you touch it. And just look around. Alright, see you later. I'll let the frequency roll. Okay, we'll see you.
Yeah, I got my Jesus stick here for that.
Alright, the other station, pick it up.
Yeah, Clark, pick it up.
My. I'm on top of the world, and I'm getting down.
That was good.
That's a quote from 7200.
Oh my God, you listened to
Oh, Absol. Are you kidding? 5 years of psychology in college? Damn right I listened to 7200.
Hell, man, that's almost bad as 60. Whoa, 38. 6. Oh,
Or do
I
you mean
love the
3840?
3860.
Well, them too, huh? I thought 3840 was like sort of the West Coast version of 7200, but I hear, yeah, I've heard 3860 is a good one too. I'll have to put one of my presets on there.
That's usually good between 10 to 12 before they pass out drunk. But yeah, that's you know, it's like listening to Channel 19.
No, my favorite 7200 guy is that Canada guy. Not Carol Madera, not 14313, but the my. He just kills me every time he keys up. That's all he ever says is that. But it's just it's just so rich. Yeah.
Have you been, writing your book or whatever about 7200 lately, Clark? Like, when are you gonna finish that thing?
As soon as the material, what is it, flattens the curve? Yes, that's the new term. As soon as the material curve flattens. But every time I tune into 7200, there's just more. So it's like this endless writing assignment.
This guy said he was just on 7200 THM here.
Hey, listen, Jurassic Park, man. Everything's that 7200 is ham radio's Jurassic Park, and it's funny because there was this guy it was a couple months ago who said, hey, why don't we just get a bunch of fine business operators together and just go on 7200 and just do good, clean radio and set an example. No obscenities, no innuendo, no foul language or anything like that. Let's just get on there and talk about transmitters and antennas and just have a nice, good, clean, wholesome discussion. And I said, you know what? That is, are you sure you want to do that on 7200? Because that would be 7200 being like Jurassic Park, that would be what you're suggesting is the equivalent of getting dressed up in a Barney the Purple Dinosaur costume and wandering into Jurassic Park singing, I love you, you love me. Now you go right ahead and do that. I'll be tuned in to hear what happens. But you will become the frequency chew toy, and you're going to come out with just shards, just fragments of yourself. And he kind of realized I was right. N1BCG.
Hey, Clark, did I ever tell you, like, the story of the first time I ever, like, really used HF and what happened? Because 7200 was involved.
No, let her rip.
All right, well, I had just gotten my general class license, and I was looking to put up an antenna. So I got my double it up with the open wire feed, and it was just kind of like there sitting around in my room. I hadn't built the tuner yet, so I couldn't really transmit with it. But I had it hooked up, and I was listening. And mind you, this is the weekend of an AM rally, and I had no idea what the AM rally was. I wasn't even really sure, like, how many people used AM, but I knew, like, some did, and I knew where to listen. But the first thing I did was I got it up on 40 meters, right? And I'm viff-balling around, like, sideband, and this is the first time I've ever sat in front of a radio and, like, viff-oed through HF. So, I'm fresh off the CB. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just looking for, like, signals. I kind of hear something, blah, blah, blah. So the first thing I see, like, big signal, I tune in, is 7200. Now, I have no idea about that frequency, and I'm just listening, and oh, my God, they were going off bad. Just, like, cursing each other out, and, like, they had, like, echo and all this crazy stuff going on, and I was like, holy crap. And this is the first thing I've ever heard on ham radio. I was like, dude, this is worse than CB. This is like another league. Wow, what have I been missing? And then, I was like, oh, man. And finally went down to like 75 meters, and I heard like Steve QIX and everybody working, a bunch of people. That was before W1AW had the big station, but I listened to that for a while, and I was like, whoa, like, there's tons of AM down here, man. And then, like, I was all gung-ho. I built the tuner and got on. But can you imagine? You get on HF, you don't know it from a hole in the wall, and the first thing you land on is 7200 while they're going off. And that's your first impression. W2BTK.
Well, 7200, a lot of people complain about it, and they're going, they're like, oh, the FCC needs to do something about that. What a cesspool. But think about it, folks. I know there's a lot of people, most people are pretty, offended by it, but consider this. The nicest towns on the planet, Beverly Hills, Greenwich, Connecticut, wherever, all of them have a sewage treatment plant, and they have a town dump where everyone takes the garbage. The reason they do that is they have a little place set aside for sewage and garbage. And I look at 7200 as sort of being the recycling center of ham radio. Do you really want to go there and blow it up and then have all, it would literally be like opening the wall. And if the FCC were to go to 7200 and like purge the frequency, it would be like opening the wall up and having all the cockroaches run everywhere. You're not getting rid of them, you're just forcing them now all over the place. They have their little spot to be, and if you just, maybe what Kenwood and Yaesu and ICOM need to do is they need to make it so that it's like a lockout frequency, like when you tune up across the 40-meter band, your VFO gets to like 3990 and then immediately clicks to 7210. It's like a lockout frequency. You actually can't get on 7200. That would solve everything. You just have like a ham radio landfill frequency, and that's 7200. Bada bing, bada bum. Easy solution.
It'll make 70,002.
Oh my God, Clark! I don't know where you came up with this. You got me as stitches, Barney, and you'll be in charge. I don't know where you come up with this. That is so funny.
Did you see the movie Jurassic Park?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Well, just think about some high fine business operator getting on 7200 and dictating to those guys, how to do fine business ham radio operating. That's exactly what would happen.
Oh, look at this. Oh my God. Can you... I gotta go.
Yeah, but so that 7200 is the landfill in this town of ham radio, but they put the landfill right at the entrance.
Makes it easy to get to.
Right, you'll never forget where it's at.
I can smell it from my house.
The funny thing is, as a couple months ago, I heard, Carol Madera, him, the nut job from Canada, from Saanich, British Columbia. You Americans, you are all deprived, sicko bastards. Him, that guy, like the kingpin of nut jobs. Well, he hangs out on 14313, and it's like his frequency, quote unquote. So that's one of those landfill frequencies. Oh my God! One Saturday afternoon, I was tuning around, and I heard this XYL on 14313. I heard this carrier. I'm like, oh, Carol's tuning up. This should be good. And I hear all of a sudden this woman get on. She goes, CQ, 20 meters. This is, K such and such. I'm so happy to be here. I just got my general, and I'm looking for my first contact. Oh my God, I'm thinking to myself, this is like someone wandering into a hibernating bear cave with a couple of cymbals and bashing them together. Hey, fuzzy ass, wake up! It's like any moment now. And sure enough, she called Seek. Now nobody is going to get on 14313 because that's one of, air quotes, those frequencies. So I was thinking of getting on and saying, you shouldn't be here. You should not be here. Just take my word for it. I know you just got a general and you haven't read the room, but this is not the frequency to be on. Just trust me. Go anywhere else, just not here. But it was too late. She awoke the Baron of Saanich. And you know what's really weird? He was totally civil with her. Ha! Go figure. N1BCG.
I was gonna ask, did he really no, but that's good. I'm glad to hear that, but I would be tense too. It's like when you're watching the Discovery Channel and that small fluffy animal's getting stalked by the tiger or whatever, and then they show it all, thing just getting ripped apart. And there's a lot of anticipation before you see something like that, but I'm glad it didn't come to it. I was actually going to ask you, but you answered my question. That's actually a nice ham radio story, believe it or not, in my opinion. W2BTK.
You know what it was like? I tuned it in and I heard this going on, and I heard her calling CQ, and then it was like one of those surreal moments in life where time slows down. Have you ever had that? Like one of those near-death experiences, and all of a sudden time gets really slow, and I'm trying to run towards the radio as fast as I can, but life is suddenly going in slow motion, and my arm is extended. I'm reaching for the microphone, going, no! But just then, she unkeys, and Carl was civilized. I couldn't believe it. I was dumbstruck.
That's amazing, Clark. Those people are insane, and they're in jail now, and they're stalkers, and they're out of their minds. Well, you weren't talking about, but amazingly, she didn't get spanked. That's a good thing.
It was a surreal moment.
Hurry, get to the chopper!
Actually, you know what? I think I have a video of it. Because it was so shocking. I think I actually made a video. Hang on a second. Let me check my phone. I'll be back in a minute.
You should post that up if you really do find it.
That would be classic. That would be an all-time favorite.
I know the thumbnail for the video says 14313. Oh, damn. I think I deleted it. I don't see it on here. I sent it to someone though. I gotta look through my email and see who I sent it to, because they might still have a copy of it. But I remember sending it. Actually, I sent it to a couple of people. Like, oh my God, check this out.
Or you can retrieve it from your sent items even. That would be fantastic. A one and only projection.
Man, remember before YouTube and stuff, and not too long ago, but when everybody started accumulating digital media, videos and stuff and music and this and that, and you didn't quite know where to post it, and there was always these little pop-up sites, and then they would disappear and you lose all your stuff. Do you remember playing that game before YouTube? Oh yeah, host your stuff here. It was weird. And now I had a bunch of crap on MySpace, music and stuff. That's gone. What's gonna happen to all the nobody you know what I mean? Do you remember that though?
Oh yeah, I've got thousands and thousands of hours of shit back in the 80s, man. But I was one of the smart ones. I always backed shit up locally and kept MP3s and stuff like that. But yeah, MySpace, oh my God. MySpace, now you're dating yourself there, bro.
Yeah, but I had good music, and when I was in college, I uploaded a bunch of music, and even when I was in high school, I think I had stuff from my high school band. I can't find any of that. It was on MySpace, gone.
Yeah, you always gotta, you don't trust the other entities, man. You gotta make your local backups as well, but, you know, even like Google and stuff, you know, eventually all this stuff's gonna go away. Nothing's permanent, man, you know the deal, but, yeah, it's too bad. I've lost a few hours of stuff on Yahoo, believe it or not, but I'm surprised it's still in business.
Yeah, well, this is a good run with YouTube. I mean, that's been like, you don't even have to think about that stuff. Like, it just put it on YouTube, you know? So, however long that lasts, oof, it's gonna be nice, but that's what I'm saying. You know, you said it, it's not going to. Anyway, this is probably a pretty boring thing to talk about. What's my problem? W2BTK.
It's just a filler.
Boring what? Talking about 7200 is never boring.
I had a tangent about digital media, like, you know, whoop-de-doo. Hey, when I do like real loud sounds like whoop, can you hear the reverb?
Yep.
Let's no, just kidding. Nobody talk about that.
I know you're very self-conscious.
Oh no, we got chewed out, and our intelligence knocked for talking about reverb, so I don't do that.
Where's the reverb?
Me and a couple of my pals out here on the, you know, I was talking to Eric and Daryl and Perry. You know, all, you know where our roots are.
Oh, I thought you meant you as we, like the id, the ego, and the superego. We.
Is it a reverb or a delay?
It's a reverb, but I have it very kind of dialed pretty low key.
Yes, it's just like an accent.
Yeah, that's what it's meant to be, just a little accentuation. And I got my audio all jacked up for, you know, more density and stuff. I did that earlier today.
Yeah, it's good to be dense.
You know, it is. It's not bad.
People have low expectation levels, so you can never let them down.
You want to hear my fat guy tone? I could facilitate that. I bet you do.
Is that F-A-T or P-H-A-T?
It's both at the same time, baby. Look at that. Now we got all, look at that right there. I can hear something humming along. Oh, I don't know about that. Sounds pretty tubby, doesn't it?
You are fat. This is boring. 3885 is just not what it should be.
All right, me and Daniel were talking about IQ modulators, and that's what I want to get into. You got any pointers for me?
Yeah, get Daniel back on. Hello, WNY. Well, someone's got to. Thank you for picking up that end of it.
Well, I mean, I will say it's usually interesting. You know, I mean, I never realized that 7200 was that way, I'll be honest with you.
You know, I have a preset on some web SDRs for 7200. I put that on in the background while I'm working just to remind myself how wonderful my life is.
Well, when I'm usually working down here, it's either 3885 or 3850.
Hello there.
I'm telling you, I really don't know what's up with 7200. Sometimes I think that it's a frequency sponsored by the drug companies, pharma, like Pfizer and stuff, where they test expired meds and things which are experimental just to see what happens. And if you had to look at the silver lining on the cloud, it's what you hear on 7200 is what's preventing those drugs from making it to the shelves of the pharmacies. So, you got to appreciate that. I'm telling you, it's like the human rat lab. It's the petri dish. It's where things are experimented with, and you get to hear the effect. And man, there's a lot of drugs that are getting rejected. Either that, or there is a serious radon gas problem where these ops are.
Oh, I like that, Clark. A human rat lab.
Oh my God! It's petri dish 7200. You want to hear experimental drugs? They're all there.
Maybe never mind.
They've all got some kind of thermal probe up their hind end, but I would medical research. It's not always humane, but it's always worth it.
We should get on 7200 and see if we're any good at it.
Oh, Billy, I've hesitated to suggest that, but I would have thought you would gravitate towards it, because you could apply all of your 11-meter skills. I couldn't say that with a straight face. You could apply all your 11-meter skills in combat on 7200.
Do you think that, that would be something to see? I think I would have fun. You've never seen me, really, really have fun on the radio. I mean, we have fun, but, wow. Maybe we could, charge admission for it.
If you got on 7200, that would remind me of, the 4:30 movie on Channel 7 here back in the 70s, where you had, Godzilla versus Mothra or something. It really would be epic.
Yeah, maybe someday. I mean, I've got the station set up pretty well to do it. I would need to cut holes in my floor and do all the proper airflow and air handlers and stuff, because I feel like I would need to be able to just talk and not look over my shoulder and really worry about exhaust temps and this and that, like I have to do now. It kind of takes my mind off things, because I'm watching 100 things. I get all bulletproof and crap, and then I'll go out onto the bowl. I mean 7200.
I think you'd be good at a quarter level and still everyone would hear you.
I think I need to run a disclaimer here. I am not, just to get this out there, I am not encouraging any civil ham radio operator to get onto or listen to 7200. Billy is probably the only exception, because he still has 9 toes and 11 meters, so he'd be okay. But for everyone else, no.
I am at a quarter power, by the way.
See what I mean?
I'm not kidding either. That's where this thing runs. It's just legal limit for whatever. And it should be infinite key down time. But like I said, I don't have enough airflow yet. So, but this thing will outlast everything.
Well, just so you know, and the flex is really tight, but you're a solid 30 over here, so, God forbid them if you go down there and, actually, I think that's what you should do. I think Clark's right. I think you should go down there.
Oh, man. Well, it'd have to be on the right night, and I'd have to be in the right mood, ready for battle. I'm just chilling right now. I mean, happy April 20th. That means anything.
Yes, it's been a long time since it's been 420. And by the way, nighttime doesn't work. These guys are at their peak in the afternoon.
And it wouldn't take you long to engage, trust me.
Oh no, you'll be dragged right in.
I know all the right things to say when you want to make friends.
These are not your friends.
Oh, they're gonna love me.
Well, they're always looking for some fresh meat, so if you want to be the other white meat and be fresh on frequency, they'd love that. They're always looking for something new on the menu.
I think that's a great idea. The menu does have to be freshened up occasionally.
See, there you go.
It would be fun. I'll think about it. I'm going to have to really get my stuff together, make sure that everything is 110% before I attempt to go out on 7200 and communicate.
That is sage advice.
Hello.
Hello, Steve.
Good evening.
Good evening from K1BTK.
All right, only because I'm curious, who's the sideband station?
Yeah.
If they switch to AM and answer, that would be the best. If you are going to respond to Clark and let us know who you are, we'd all really appreciate it if you'd switch over to the AM mode.
I think Connor's trying to get in here too.
Yeah, well, AM mode. So how do you never use on the radio? Yeah, you don't really know how it works?
See, let that be a lesson in inclusivity. I try to be nice, and they disappear, so forget it.
Clark, that is true. I was on 3859 the other night, and that was a lot like 7200.
Are you sure that wasn't 3860, which I hear a lot about? Oh, no, wait a minute. 3960?
30.
Yeah, but see, I wasn't on 3860. I was on 3859.
Well, I would have to say, having heard 3840 on the West Coast SDRs, it is very competitive with 7200. I have not heard about 3860.
Oh, yeah, they'll be on at probably 10 o'clock.
Well, yeah, see, I was on 3859 a little before that, talking to somebody, having a very normal fine business QSO on lower slop bucket, and then they all fired up on 3860, I guess, on top, kind of, but it didn't work. So I just kept talking to the guy I was talking to, and by the time we were done, everybody was cursing at us a lot.
Well, 3860 is like an online mental institution. Live, no less. So you can go in there and you'll get a bunch of variants and some really unstable people up there. It's really entertaining.
I'm about 7200.
Well, thing, but I'm talking about 3860 right now.
Yeah, it was nutty. They were trying really, really, really hard to quirm us and stuff, but the guy I was talking to was strapping and I was strapping, so it was not an issue. We just had our conversation, really normal, kind of like we're having now, over the top of all this crap. And they were playing recordings and cursing and carrying on and biffoing around and just trying. And by the time we both signed, they were literally keying up, saying really nasty things. But honestly, we were there on 3859 talking well before they got on, and they just fired up on 3860. Could have moved up a little bit or whatever, but they just fired up and tried. That's the key word, they tried. But that was actually really fun. W2BTK on Montana Mountain.
Remember, nasty is relative.
Don't get into that. That would be a reason.
Well, like I said, that's a rolling mental institution. And, they're interesting, too, as well. I think that might be your second pick, but 7200, of course, is the first. And, but, yes, they are relentless up there, and that is their therapy up there. So it's definitely, you want to go up there and listen there. And I don't know what to tell you, but, that was a bad place to park.
You know, we could designate 3860 as Jurassic Park South. I have so many Post-it notes marking pages. I saved all of my, I think like 8. I haven't counted them. I think I've got 8 psychology textbooks from college, which I hung on to all of them because I thought these will be worth something someday. And you know what? When I got into ham radio, there was never a better example of why I should have psychology as a co-major than getting on ham radio. And then 7200 made all those classes and that major totally worth it. But my favorite book is Social Psychology: Understanding Human Interaction, 4th edition by Barron and Byrne. That book has got a little yellow Post-it note sticking out of the top of so many pages, and if you look on them, there's call signs written on there. So when I hear one of those ops on 7200, all I got to do is hear the call sign, and I can actually flip to the chapters which relate to their particular dysfunction and disorder. It's very handy.
Well, Clark, you're onto something here, I think. Maybe you should map the entire ham radio spectrum out, like cities, perhaps. Like 7200 could be like New Orleans, and the other frequency, 600, could be like Brockton. So we can send Billy, and we'll have that around each city every month or something, and go through and you remember that show, The Warriors? That was one of my favorite flicks, by the way, where they have to fight their way through the city. Well, we could send Billy after them and see how many frequencies he can fight off.
Yeah, dude.
Marks on your.
Look at this, dude. I made somebody's Hall of Shame. Who is this guy? W2BTK. I'm on his website on the Hall of Shame here. Oh my God. What did he write? Look, W2BTK. This snowflake jammed the Patriot Net with his girlfriend Dave. April 3rd, 20th. Audio to come. Oh my God. See, there you go. We're gonna get the whole recording of it, of my my lower sideband stuff, and the URL for that is W2WW.com, and I clicked on Hall of Shame. Wow, this is funny.
What have you done now?
That's just part of being famous, I guess.
What's the website?
It's www.com, and you just click on Hall of Shame and scroll down.
Okay. Gotcha. Look at this noodle. Dude, what a turd. Look at them sunglasses.
Well, they just stay away from the west side.
How many kids does he have locked up in his basement?
Dude, that's so funny. Oh my God, we were just talking about it, and he's got audio of it apparently. He's gonna put it up on his website. That is so funny. You know what you're gonna hear? You're gonna hear me talking to Dave, having like a fine business QSO, and oh God, a bunch of people cursing and trying to jam us and this and that. And oh man, hopefully they were recording before they fired up the net, you know?
Wow, and he identifies it. Here's a list of scumbag hams, jammers, and just low-life viral scum. Just be an a-hole on the air and you will make this list. Huh.
Dude, I'm on it.
I only heard you talking about you guys getting jammed. But, well, where was this? What frequency was this Patriot Net on?
So they fire up on 3860 around, I don't know, whatever o'clock. But like before, maybe a half an hour before that, me and Dave were on, and the only clear spot was like around there. So we fired up on like 3859 or somewhere around there. And then, you know, like net time came around, and we were still talking or whatever, but they just like fired up. And we're like, what the hell are these guys doing? I can't believe, like, you know, they're talking on ham radio. You know, no coordination, no nothing. And they just fired up and tried to quirm us. And we were, like, honestly about to wrap up, but it just kind of lit a fire. And so we just kept talking casually, you know, back and forth to each other, you know, maybe commenting on the QRM. I think we were actually giving the QRM grades, like, you know, on what they were doing, critiquing it and stuff. And then, you know, we talked for like maybe half an hour and got off the air. And then they all cursed us out and this and that and the other thing. Real nice guys, you know. Normally, and just for anyone listening, this is how it works. Guys are on the frequency, you want to fire up a net, you coordinate with them. Hey, could you slide down a little? Or if it's clear, you just slide your net up or whatever. But, you know, you deal with it like adults. They were incapable, and the audio that you're going to hear on his site is going to show that. It's going to be really funny. I can't wait. W2BTK on Montana Mountain.
Well, and he called Dave VW a snowflake. He didn't do his research.
Yeah, they tried to run us off, and they could not run us off, and they got really butthurt about it. That's the Cliff Notes.
Well, like you say, if you were there first, and just because that's a habit of the net going 10 down, that's their problem. They could come up and ask, you know what, we're going to start a net. Could you move up a little bit maybe? And you probably would have, but nope, they just got to fire up, so be it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Do you have a recording of this guy talking on QRMing you? Because he has on his website. Actually, one of my friends is on here. Do you have a recording of him? Because here you can, it says if you have a tape of a jammer you want listed, contact me. We could submit him.
Yeah, I don't think if we submit video or audio of him jamming, it's gonna make it up on his website. But that's what he was doing to me and Dave, you know, and all his buddies, I guess. I mean, I don't know if it was exactly him, but they were quirming the crap out of us, but they couldn't really get it done, you know. God, I really want to hear that recording. It's gonna be really fun because I was having a great time, you know. That was good radio.
It won't show up.
Plus, that frequency is far from an ethical frequency. I mean, that, like I say, that's the insane asylum of 80 meters. So.
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw rocks. That's the grand path of frequency right there.
And you know what? A lot of those guys are some of the guys that come up here and quirm the guys, you know, in the operating AM up here.
Yep, I know a lot of them. I've been listening a long time. I know probably 30 call signs. I'm not going to name them here, but they do that just to harass. So, you know, all in good fun, Billy. That's all I got to say. And good luck to them.
Hey, Billy.
Yeah, what's up, Bob?
Yeah, K1KBW. Yeah, it's probably the same guys that have been qualming us for years from 3868, the side being assholes.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They have their net on 3860, but I'm sure it is a bunch of them. I don't even know who these guys are. You know, and I wasn't able to find out because Dave was flattening them all when we were in QSO. So, yeah, I didn't get any call signs.
They don't give them anyway.
Oh yeah, no, they won't give their calls. No, they got one guy on there that he's got some kind of jamming device, and he starts that up, and he'll jam all night long. He blew his amplifier up 2 or 3 times doing it.
Oh, that's right. Guy there, he plays music, poorly modulated, what must I say. If I was going to play music, I'd at least go through a mixer and make it decent. And of course, another guy's using a frequency wave spectrum that sweeps up and down the band. So yeah, we know what we're talking about.
I think it's two separate groups, though. The guys from 60, from what I'm getting here, don't really jam the AMers. I think that group, Bob, is a different group of guys, but still from a different net. But they all seem like kind of like I don't know, what is the correct word that I could losers. Yeah, it fits.
Yeah, they just don't like AM, you know, and they think that sideband is where it's at, and AM is trash, but it's the opposite way. Sideband's missing a carrier, so it ain't right.
Listen to those folks in down south. That's a whole different crowd.
Yeah.
There's a few of them up on 85. Yeah, they're all over the place. The sidebanders just do not like AM. It's as simple as that.
Well, I mean, that's a blanket statement. Sure, there's plenty of guys that like operate sideband and AM and are cool, but for the most part, yeah, like perfect example, let's go down somewhere that's not 3885 or 3875 and go operate AM and see if, you know, anybody's like, oh, hey, cool, like I saw you guys operating AM, like I'm cool with that. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone would say that. So, but you know, there's a lot of people that just wouldn't say anything. Be like, well, you know, it's their right. They might not like it, but they recognize that, you know, you're allowed to use AM anywhere you want.
Sure, they can't outfoot us because we just outpower them, just knock them out. You know, they don't realize the equipment we have. They think we're all running boat anchor stuff that, you know, that they can't get rid of their stupid signals. But ask Perry. Perry will tell you. He had to run in one of the guys on 68 one night, and that guy come up here, man, he was reaming him, and man, he called Perry all kinds of names.
Well, actually, Bob, sideband, since, you know, the power limit being 1500 watts AM PEP, you have much, much less energy in your sidebands than you do when you lose the carrier and condense it all into one sideband. So like you actually have 1500 watts PEP in your, you know, sideband there. To do the equivalent on AM, you'd have to run somewhere close to 5,000 watts of carrier and fully modulate it to, you know, get about 1500 watts in each of your sidebands. So the AM is not as good for jamming. If you want to jam, you use sideband. And also, man, come on, I'm running a boat anchor over here. How's my signal? A little atomic yellow.
Yeah, I'm talking about for receive. They think we're running old crap for receivers, that we can't eliminate their signals. And they don't realize that some of the guys, well, myself, my son, Bill LLY, and a couple other guys running the Kavilta filters from Israel. There ain't nothing they can do. They cannot jam a Kavilta filter. It just does. That's what we call it. It's highly technical stuff. It comes from the Israeli army. We call them Kavilta filters. That way there nobody really knows what they are. But there's no way they can mess with them.
Yeah, SDR receivers are. It's firepower is what it is.
Bill, you need to sign his guest book.
Oh yeah, I should, right?
Absolutely. I think everybody should, you know. Just sign up and say hi.
Oh my God, that would be funny.
You know,
yeah, wow. How do I get to this guest book?
Solar 3885, 3875. There's one more AM. What is there? 3 spots for AM. And sideband has the rest of the spectrum. So, I mean, if you don't pay attention, I think you deserve what you get anyway. What'd you get?
Well, they don't care, you know. And here's the thing. You go outside the AM window, and the first thing you're going to hear those sideband assholes goes, "Get up in the AM window where you belong." Well, yeah, I would, dude, except your stupid sideband buddies are up there, so I had to come down here.
Well, you're right, Bob, and that's the thing. We do stick here, and typically, legally, you can go anywhere you'd like to and run AM. So we typically, mind you, stay around these segments, and they should not encroach us. It's called a gentleman's agreement. I know that years ago it was stated, but perhaps they don't know it, or I think, Bob, you're right. They just don't give a what. But so that's the deal. Just stay away from here, and we'll stay away from you, and that's the way it should be.
Well, they're frequency predators. I didn't realize a little bit off frequency. They're frequency predators. They think they own the frequency. They don't understand the rules. They don't really care. And the rules state you're on the frequency first. You freaking own that frequency until you relinquish it. That's FCC rules. I don't care if they got a net coming on, the net can move somewhere else. Nets don't have priority over nothing or nobody. If you're in there talking, you're in a QSO, you own that frequency until you decide to sign off. I don't care who wants to get on there. Now, they can join your QSO if they want, but they can't take over the frequency and they can't key up on top of you. That is totally against FCC rules. But these idiots either don't know that or they know it and don't give a damn.
Yes, sir. The AM window is created because AMers are just people. And it's understood that AM is a bit wider, and we've carved out this little section. Well, I say we, I've only been here for a month. AM has carved out the little section of the band so the AM doesn't interfere with other people, and people don't get it. That's not on us. It's on them. 74 ICE, the first carrier.
Yeah, well, we've had run-ins with them. We've they called the FCC on us. We contacted the FCC, and the FCC just flat out told these sideband idiots, look, those guys are, AM is wide. That's just the way it is. It's not narrow band like sideband, so don't get so close. Why do you guys have to get so close? They're wide. Why do you have to crawl right up next to them and then start bitching about it? That's what they were told by the FCC. Why do you get so close to them and then you turn around and bitch that they're too wide? Stay away from them. There's plenty of room on the band.
It's chaos. It'll never end. We could bitch about it forever. It's nice and quiet tonight, though. I'm listening fairly wide. Everybody's sounding good. Monday night, April 20th. W2BTK. I hope it's a good one.
Coronavirus. Yeah, it is nice, man. You're right. There's no slap bucket here, and yes, we are wide. We're twice the bandwidth of normal. But you just got to realize that's what we do. We like the AM stuff, and yeah, it takes up a little bit of real estate. But these guys should know the game. If you're on radio, you're educated. We operate here in 10 down and maybe even 36, and just stay away if you don't want to get bothered. It's just, we like AM, you guys like your sideband. Go down the band a bit, it's not going to be a big deal, and everyone can get along, but that, I guess, just not the way it is. K1GTK.
Right, but that's just the way it is, and if you don't like it, it's too bad. You got to put up with it, We 99% of us stay right here in the AM window. But the sidebanders come up in here and they don't give a damn. They'll just come up here and start up a QSO and they don't care. And then we have no place to go. And then when you go down outside the window, they start, get up in the AM window where you belong. Yeah, well, yeah, okay, except I can't because it's full of sidebanders. And actually we can transmit anywhere we want. There is no limitations. Some guys kind of wanted to have the FCC make a ruling that this is the AM window, strictly for AM and not sideband, that's probably not a good idea. Because what would happen is exactly what's happening now. A lot of the sidebanders wouldn't adhere to it. The AMers would, but the sidebanders wouldn't, and you're going to have the same thing you got now, only worse. So, because then we wouldn't be able to go outside the AM window, but they would come into the AM window. So that would make it even worse. So it's better just to leave it the way it is, and we just power them off the band. We've got receivers now that can just notch them right out and get them right the hell out of there, and they don't bother us anymore. And we can definitely also outpower their asses too. I don't care what they say with sidebands got more power, this and that and the other. We can outpower them, no problem. I know I can, and I know there's a few other people can too.
Yeah. The thing is, with AM, if you're going to clone AM, you better clone both sides, because the great thing about AM, we can just filter that right out. And much more by courtesy. But, I can't power over everybody. At least not now, but anywho. Everybody sounds calm. And you're right, there's no sideband right here, right now. Of course. Knock on wood. W4IPC.
Yeah, here's another thing too, guys. And we used to have fights with those idiots on 3868. They would come up here and start trying to jam us and stuff. 'Cause all we got to do is switch over to, they're on lower side. We switched to upper side, and we can still hear the person referred because we transferred on both sidebands. And we're not even hearing them. Well, they got wise to that, so they started running double sideband. The only problem with that is when the FCC hears double sideband, they know what you're up to. They know you're jamming on purpose. So the few of them got letters, and they kind of knocked that off.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm going to sign off to Bob and everyone else there, but frankly, the fact of the matter also is most of the sideband people haven't put a lot of the effort and the energy and the money into the equipment that you guys are running. I'm not one of them. I'm just running a flex here. I'm a rice box operator. Oh, the amp's pretty stout, but they frankly, they couldn't compete if they wanted to. Anyway, I know Bob and the rest of the people out there, Clark and I can't remember, BTK, and of course other people out there have put a lot of money and effort into their antenna systems and the transmitters, of course, and the amplitude. There's just no competition. That's the bottom line. There is no competition. So if they tried it would just be futile and a waste of their energy, It's kind of like shoveling against the wind. All right, I'm going to get out of here, you guys. Have a good one. This is K1GTX on the Cape, and have a good evening.
Yeah. Hey, and you're right. You're exactly right. Most of the AMers, at least 90% of them, put a lot of effort into their stations. And that's why, sidebanders, they used to call them, what did they call them? I forget the term that they call them, appliance operators. I call them plug and plays. It's like your wife. She goes to the store, buys a toaster, and brings it home. If it don't work, she goes, brings it back, gets another one. That's what they do. They go and they buy a radio, and they plug it in, and they get on the air. That's it. Before they know, they don't know anymore. And when you do stuff like that, you're not going to compete with the AMers that have been doing this stuff for years and know all the ins and outs and know exactly what's going on and what's not going on. So you're right, 100% right. And that's where it's at. Anyway, Hannity's on, so I want to catch some of what he's saying. So I'll be quiet for a bit and let you other guys turn the frequency back over to you other guys. K1 KBW.
73.
Yeah, all right. We'll see you later, guys. Fine business, right? Connor, you're still doing well here, man. You got your usual signal. This is nice conditions tonight. It's pretty quiet for in relative terms.
Yeah, I'm surprised. there's a solar storm, a G1 solar geomagnetic storm happening. The SFI is 68, the A index is 18, and the K is 1. There's waves worse earlier. I couldn't get any DX on any bands. It was like, earlier the A index was like freaking 40, and the K index was like 18. I couldn't believe it. But, yeah, I'm telling you, it's this new antenna. I need to get this 1.5 ohm. That's a heck of a low resistance. 1.5 ohm resistor. Once the keep it opens around here, get that resistor, and hopefully that's it. I did some probing around here. I do my best probing in the dark, and I did some probing, and I didn't see, smell, or feel anything that seem out of place other than this one resistor. So hopefully it was just one of those things, you know?
It is one of those things, man. It's not a big deal. And like you said, you're just gonna go through it, figure out what the hell went wrong, maybe why it went wrong. You might find more than one thing, you know, and that's it. That'll be, you know, and you're going to do that many, many, many more times, man. That's not going to be the first thing you're going to have to repair. Or, I mean, that's not going to be the last thing you're going to have to repair. So, you know, get used to it. It's fun, man. Like, you know, blow stuff up, fix it, get back on the air, blow it up again, fix it, get back on the air. That's like kind of what keeps me going in the hobby, to be honest. W2BTK with W4IPC and whoever else may be lurking. I heard somebody. You might have doubled with Connor for a second.
What kind of amp are you using?
More than like it.
It was KRS, and I think I heard somebody else in there. And Connor, if you're not following along in the chat, that's good advice. Get used to it, but be safe. Do not play with this stuff when it's energized.
Negator.
As Daddy taught me, always answer questions. Yeah, oh, trust me. Someone told me. It's safe, but it's also not safe. He built me he calls it a Jesus stick. You plug it into the wall, it's connected to ground, and you go and you open up your amplifier, you go touch all the high voltage and let it short the ground. Then you take your alligator leads, clip them to it, and clip them to the high voltage, and then there you go. You can work on it and won't kill yourself. I prefer carriers.
That's it. Yeah, you definitely need a Jesus stick if you're going to work on that. Never trust anything, you know. Capacitors can be discharged and then develop a static charge over time if they're not shorted out. You know, like you discharge a cap, high voltage cap, and put it away in a closet, and you don't short it out after you discharge it, it can build a charge enough to kill you. You know, so that's a really good thing to have, a Jesus stick. I have one hanging on my rack right here, and always do that, and always ground it out when you're going to be working in there. And if anyone tells you that you need to turn it on to check something or do a test or anything, especially with high voltage, they're wrong. They just don't know that there's always a way to test things without high voltage, you know? Like, you need to check that transformer. Let's just say it's like a 3,000 volt transformer. You don't put 120 volts on the primary. You put 10 volts on the primary and do the math and see what you get on the other side to determine the transformer's working. You know, stuff like that. You could do cold tests on stuff, or, you know, do stuff with really reduced power into loads, you know, resistive loads. I don't know. There's lots of stuff you can do instead of turning on high voltage.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I did, Billy. I tested the transformer, because that was kind of my first thought, so I put, with my 10 amp variac, that was like the best thing I'd ever gotten. I got that out of a junk pile. That's my first, I only got my other week, that was my first steal from a junk pile, is that 10 amp variac. Oh man, was that a good one. It'll do 242. I think I put 5 volts in and, did the stupid calculation. It worked. So, it's not the transformer. So, I'm hoping that it's probably just this little resistor. I'm not inclined enough to figure out what the resistor is for. Yeah, I don't know. But, I'm guessing it's just one of those things that it just kind of happened. The this thing was built 3/2019, but you know the name on the front. W4ITC.
K1BCM.
It was like 3 people that jumped in there all at the same time, really, really fast with the call signs. Hey Connor, why don't you pick up one of these stations, man? I think that would be pretty cool. One at a time. Somebody ended in X-ray. Why don't you give it a try?
Alright. K1GTX. I just wanted to pair it with Billy had. I wanted to make sure you can hear me. Can you hear me, Connor?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I just want to pair what Billy says. Don't do anything in that amp while it's powered up. Yeah, definitely discharge everything. And here's a good thing, man. Everything has a definite yes or no. So if you get the schematic for that, and this is a good learning experience for you now. Everything is going to have an absolute answer with a yes or a no. So what you'll do is, say you suspect that resistor is bad. Obviously, you have to lift one end of it off the board to make sure nothing else is affecting the resistance. But you can check that for its resistance without any power with a multimeter, and you'll have a yes or no answer. And you just keep going through the circuit and look at the traces. And the only thing you can't do is the tubes. But chances are 4 tubes haven't blown out, so that's probably highly unlikely. You can check your diodes and all that stuff and get the schematic and just go through the whole thing, at low power. And even the transformer, if you isolate that transformer from the board, it's going to have a definite resistance value for each tap, which you can get off the internet. And if you look at the schematics, it's going to say, yeah, your primary should be 2.9 thousand ohms. If it's not, then it's a transformer, or your secondary, same thing like that. So there is a definite way to troubleshoot that amp. It's going to be a good experience, and I'm confident you will be able to figure it out. Check your coax connectors in and out, all the connectors in it, and it's going to be a good learning experience. But I just wanted to reiterate, do not do it with that sucker powered up, because there is some potentially lethal voltage, and do short the caps out before you go mess around with it. That's all I wanted to say, and good luck, Connor, and your antenna's working good, because I'm hearing you, and I have a high noise level here, so, a couple 100 watts, that's going to definitely push you up over the edge, and good luck to you, man. That's all I wanted to say. Name's West Cape Cod, K1GTX, and carry on, mate. We'll talk to you later.
Yep. Once I get my amplifier back going, probably by then I'll have the flex all set up, because that's all I got to do, is I got to replace the resistor, and, that's going to be it. So, yeah. But I'm guessing it just happened. So when I turn this thing on, it drops the line voltage for a second. Enough to all of the UPSs I have in my rack here. Maybe I ought to make a little self-start circuit for it. I've got a resistor in the back there, a resistor that would probably do the job. So yeah, I probably ought to look at a test start for this, because that's probably not good for anything in there, that it, you know, rattles the whole desk for a second for the first few cycles, and because of course a discharge capacitor is like a short circuit for a few cycles. Anyway, W4IPC.
Alright, good enough. And you know, in 811H you really don't have to worry about that. What we worry about is like what I have, where it's an Alpha 76 with 3 tubes that are $1,000 each. Yeah, you probably want to soft start them, but you're running 811s or 572Bs depending on the model you got. Not a big deal. They can take the inrush current. There's not a lot of circuitry in there per se, as opposed to like a high level amp with auto tuning and stuff like that. So yeah, just keep it simple, man. That's all. All right, I'm gonna back down. There's a lot of other frequencies. I just want to say, do not mess around with that thing with it powered up, because it's a bad idea. I've been thrown across the room a couple times and had some severe burns unplugged. So just watch it. That's the bottom line. All right, Connor, have a good one, and we'll look forward to hearing you with a signal, man. So carry on. 7-3.
KC1BCG.
All right, it's KC1G. I didn't get the suffix too well. I got the KC1.
That's KC1 Delta Papa.
I got Delta Papa, and the lightning crash swallowed you.
Mexico, Mike. Delta Papa, Mike.
Okay, KC1 Delta Papa Mike. Good evening. Signal's a little low. You're just fine unless there's some lightning, which is getting up over your modulation. Good signal though. The carrier's well above the noise. Welcome, W2BTK.
Okay, W2BTK, pleasure to meet you here on the rig. Trying to change the audio. I'm told you can't get good quality AM out of the right box. So there's nothing I can adjust to unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna be able to give you an audio report or anything like that tonight. I'm just barely pulling you out of my noise floor, catching most of what you're saying. But yeah, as far as I can tell, you've got the thing dialed in nice and clean. Good sounding rice box. I think you sound better than Connor, honestly.
Well, hey there. No offense to Connor, I don't even know the guy, but yeah, I'm monitoring off the rig, and I don't know. It sounds like it's tripping a little bit, but I'm not even engaging the ALC. So I'm not sure where in the transmit chain or in the receive chain, or where in the radio the headphone monitor phone is taken. If it's at the modulator, if it's at the receiver, and the receiver is just narrow. Really, I should be listening off air.
Well, it would be nice if it was demodulated from the receiver, but I doubt it. Who knows? You might be able to look it up in the specs, but I have an SDR receiver. It's separate transmitter receiver over here. I'm running a Johnson Viking 2 boat anchor transmitter, and I've got a modern SDR receiver, and I can throw about 15 dB of attenuation in line with that, and it becomes a halfway decent modulation monitor. I have a TR relay that just disconnects the coax when I key up, and that's I have plenty of signal into the SDR with nothing hooked up, and then with the additional 10 or 15 dB of attenuation, it cleans it up so you're not overloading it. Just a strong signal, and you can hear exactly what the heck you sound like with like a 50 over signal.
Yeah, absolutely. Based on the monitor receiver here, just communication quality, but it doesn't seem to be clipping as much as it is taking off the rig. So maybe I'm not sure what to make of that. But as long as I don't speak too close to the mic, it's not bad. The only thing is I've got the the microphone's running through a mixer, and okay, I guess I can adjust the low end. The high end EQ, well, I guess that does do something. The high end EQ, I've got the 12 kilohertz all the way up, and if I turn it down, it just completely goes to mud, but there's nothing in the terms of mid-range. So, I don't know. But anyway, I just figured I'd hop on for a quick check. I appreciate the signal report, though.
Yeah, you know what? And I heard a breaker in there. I'm going to turn it over to you after I wrap up here. You came up. I really heard it. And yeah, I can tell that you're running, some pretty decent audio. But yeah, the bandwidth that they're giving you in that radio is not doing it justice. So it sounds really clean, but still kind of communications just because of the bandwidth. You're not. It seems like they're rolling off the lows. They're pretty high up there, 200 hertz or like higher than that. I don't know, but when you boosted the low end there, it came up as like a lot of low mid range. It was weird, and I could just I could hear the corner frequency on the low end, and it was up pretty high. So working with the restricted bandwidth that you have, I say that sounds phenomenal. It's a tight set of restrictions, and you did a good job. I'd love to hear what you'd sound like with some more bandwidth, you know what I mean? But real good job. I'll pass it back to you, and then I'm going to see if we can get this breaking station in here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep it short then. I actually took off the 100 hertz low cut here, and that seems to be doing all right. And yeah, I've got the highs completely cranked, the low end a little bit more there. So there are the lows, but I'm still probably muddying myself out. It's an effects engine in the mixer. But I'll keep it short. I'll let you work that breaking station. KC1DPM W2BTK.
Go ahead, whoever that is, pick it up.
Yeah, thanks for letting me jump in here. This is Kilo 4 Romeo Foxtrot. That's KK4RF. The name here is Marty, short for Martin, and we're located in Suffolk, Virginia, and we're just running an old Viking Ranger that I worked on this winter, and I haven't really put it on the air much. I had a lot of fun kind of rebuilding it, and it doesn't look too good, but hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. But you've got a great signal here. I'm receiving it with an old National NC57, receiver that I've been working on also. So anyway, but thanks for picking me up. And I have an orientation I can hear. I can't hear any of the other guys you're talking with. So I'll give it back to you there. I appreciate it. This is KK4RF.
Uh-oh. I'm in trouble now. Billy, that's my friend Marty. He's real close to me. I guess he can't hear me, but tell him I can hear him. W4IPC.
Oh, is that so? Marty, Connor's jumping in there. Can you hear Connor?
I heard him that time. Yeah, I heard Connor. And, yeah, Connor is a member of the Chesapeake Amateur Radio Service. And I think he may be part of the Wisconsin Radio Club also, the Battleship Wisconsin. And I'm a member of all those clubs. And we'd like to go on down to the Battleship Wisconsin and operate some of the World War II equipment from the ship. But anyway, good evening to Connor there, and I'll send it back to the guy with the really loud signal and excellent audio too. I think you said you're running a Viking. Gee whiz, I'm not sure which Viking you're using, but it sounds excellent. Back to you there.
Yeah, all right, Marty. And the call here is W2BTK, like Billy the Kid, and that happens to be my name, Billy. Yeah, real nice. You're running some old Johnson equipment, and we've got some pretty good conditions tonight. Not a lot of adjacent stuff, so that NC57 is probably a pleasure right now. I have this SDR receiver because, you know, when it gets all hairy out here, I like to notch it all out and make it go away. But yeah, as far as transmit over here, it's a Johnson Viking 2, you know, the 1950s commercially made goodness everyone knows, except I'm externally modulating it with the solid state audio amp. It's a Crown Comtech 800. It's just regular like PA amp, 4 ohm output, and I'm using a pair of toroidal power transformers made by a company called Antec, and their claim to fame is they've got a whole slew of toroidal power transformers from like 10 VA up to like, you know, 1000 VA. They all have 115 volt dual primaries and just a whole slew of secondary voltages. So I took one of those, turn it around backwards using the secondary as a primary, tied the 2 transformers together with the 115 volt windings, and then the second transformer was, you know, the secondary of that was my secondary. So I have that matching the impedance to the 6146s. It does a fine job. Those power toroids, the extremely low leakage reactance, really good ratings on everything. Overbuilt. They do things you shouldn't be able to do. I mean, you can't do that with old iron mod transformers. It just wouldn't work. But that's the deal over here. That's how I'm achieving the sound out of this Viking 2 solid state homebrew modulator. And, you know, the usual, I'm running a doublet with open wire feed and double balance tuner, stuff like that. So back over to you, Marty. KK4RF from W2BTK.
Yeah, very good, Billy. W2BTK with W4IPP. And I'm not sure if there are any other stations on as well, but this is KK4RF. Well, you know, Billy, what you're doing with those Antec toroidal transformers sounds really interesting. There was a guy I used to see on AM phone. He used to have some really neat postings in there. I think his call is AB2EZ, something like that. And he did a lot of work with those Antec toroidal transformers and using them as modulation transformers. So that may be what you're doing there. The use of the solid state audio amp as a modulator, that's really quite neat. And I think people, when they take like an audio output transformer and they'll run it backwards and run like a solid state amplifier into it, and then take the backward mounted audio output transformer from like a tube amplifier, and then they use that in combination with a choke, a filtered choke, and a capacitor, then to use that to modulate like a tube transmitter. So very interesting stuff. And anyway, what I'll do, Billy, I'll give it back to you, then you can give it back to Connor as well. So anyway, thanks for the information there. Sounds really interesting. W2BTK with W4IPC. This is KK4RF.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. And yes, Stu, AB2EZ. He was kind of the first guy to go like mainstream with that stuff, experiment with it. He did, you know, a couple write-ups here and there. And yeah, he's one of the first. I guess he had the idea, or at least he was the first to write anything about it on the internet. But yep, that's pretty much exactly what I'm doing. If you go to my QRZ page, I have a schematic of my modulator up there. And I'm using a 3-diode ultra modulation circuit that I got out of a October 1956 QST article called Ultra Modulation. And yeah, the setup you described, you know, with the regular mod transformer, turn around backwards or something like that. I have a friend of mine is doing that with the desk kilowatt, and that works too. I mean, it's not quite the match you get from doing it with the toroids. I mean, this is almost perfect, but it doesn't really matter that much. You got the audio power to overcome it, then, you know, let it swing. But yeah, that works too. That works. All kinds of ways to get on the air with plate modulation, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, Connor, why don't you pick it up for a minute? The amp is exhausting some some hot temperatures. I've been on the key for a second here. W2BTK.
Alrighty, Billy. How many times are we gonna have to bug you till you put the hole in there for your wire and your chimney for the amplifier there, so you can run the amplifier to its potential? Anywho, good to hear Marty. I hope he's doing okay over there. And yeah. We are still fine with this amplifier. I'm gonna close it up here and let it mellow and decide until I get that resistor. But anyway, or until MFJ responds to my nasty email. The power supply is kept on 73 Marty. And oh, my shipping label just came in. Look at that. Look at that, Billy. I should be getting that flex sooner than ever. W4 IPC, back to the frequency god.
W2MKM.
B1PYE.
All right, it's a couple breakers in there. The MKO, I think it was first there. Why don't you make one? Introduce yourself. This is W2BTK.
Hey, Billy. W2, Mike Killer Mike. About 8 miles east of you on Point Mountain. Looking at Scotts Mountain tonight. Finally, we got the clear skies. So, yeah, just listening in here, gents, and wanted to say howdy. And Connor, you sound good tonight, and the other station in Virginia, picking you guys out pretty well here. So, another breaker in there, but just want to say hello. Name here is Ed, and we're in Northwest Jersey on Point Mountain. W2BTK, W2MKM.
Oh wow, we're like neighbors. I wonder what kind of signal you're seeing on me, because it'll either be, you know, I wouldn't know. It'll give me a good idea of how much my feed line is radiating, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm right up. I could walk to Merrill Creek in about 10 minutes from where I am up here on the mountain. That's pretty cool, Ed. So yeah, why don't we get the other breaker in there, and then, you know, we'll kind of just take it from there. It's W2BTK.
Okay. I'll pick it up, K1GTX, and I'm going to be out of here soon. Just want to let Marty know you're doing a good job up here on Cape Cod, so hope you weren't hearing anyone else. Hope you were hearing me. And Billy, you're a Crown fan. I love it. Look at my QRZ page, K1GTX. Maybe we've already had this conversation, I don't know. But at the bottom of the page, you'll see my rack mount system, and there are 3 additional Crown K2 2500 bridged amplifiers within the sound system. So I'm a Crown fan, and I think they are fantastic. And boy, that's a hell of a modulator. So I'm just going to crawl back out of here, but check it out, man. And I think you'll like what you see. All right, catch you guys later. K1GTX.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. You've got the same subs that they had in the club that I used to work at, in your living room. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, man. Yeah, well, let's keep it casual. I don't know. I guess we'll just run break-in, right? So whoever, I got a long message here on the stream. I'm streaming right now, by the way, on Twitch, twitch.tv/sniffmyballs. Yeah, I know the username sucks, but it's a cool feed. You see my pan adapter here when you key up, see your signal, this and that. I've got my oscilloscope trace up there on transmit. It's pretty cool. But anyway, twitch.tv/sniffmyballs if you want to watch. So yeah, we'll just run some break-in, right? It's usually how it rolls over here, Ed. So, you know, feel free. I'm gonna get off the key and read this message for a second. So, y'all.
I'd rather not sniff your balls.
All right, Connor. Good evening. Name's Ed, and yeah, I listen here a lot, guys. I listen probably 90% of the time, and hear you guys going on. Connor, I've got an E-Rig SDR Flex 6400M, and been a Flex guy for a long time. And when I get a little more time, I might put up a tube AM rig, but right now I'm working on antennas. So you got a lot to look forward to with the great fun radio. I enjoy it lots, and I heard you're going to be trading in a bunch of gear, and you created a great swindle with the guys over at Flex, which I'm sure they're going to be happy to have you on the air. So it's fun, and I'm just learning how to use AM on this now, so I don't know how it sounds, but just don't do, like I said, not a lot of transmitting, and finished up a couple antenna projects recently. Most recently was a 40-meter 4-square, which we got up and working well. So kind of down to you. Let me give me a signal report and let me know how I'm sounding. And I forgot your call, buddy. Go ahead.
Oh man, yeah, it's W2BTK. I wasn't looking, but on your next over, I give you a relative SNR here.
Yeah, Bill, I've got 8 dB of attenuation in, and you're 30 to 40. But I mean, I'm just looking on the map here on whatever the hell this what is it? The heywhatsthat.com site, and you're 10 miles as the crow flies. Are you on the east side or west side of Merrill Creek?
Oh, let's see. I believe I'm on the east side of Merrill Creek.
Got it, yeah. No, I used to live over down at the bottom of Fiddler's Elbow down on Ridge Road. And I was there back, I guess, in the 80s, and had a nice tower up, but I was at the 500-foot, west side of Scotts Mountain, which was not a great radio location, even though I did well. I had a KT-34 DXX, and it was fun on a 50-foot tower and a bunch of wires in the woods.
Well, I just want to jump in here while I can be heard, because my signal is doing good. 73, I'm going to go observe today's date. 73, W4IPC. Good night, everybody.
All right, Connor. I'll catch you later, man. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, it's weird up here on the mountain, like the terrain. I'm kind of in a little bit of a basin here. I don't know. It's weird. Like, I have line of sight in certain directions, but not in all directions. The peak of the mountain, Scotts Mountain, is just to my west, I guess, and then to like the northeast, there's that other peak that's about 200 foot higher than where I am here, where all those, the towers and stuff over by Demeter Road. And that's a little bit of an obstruction, but I do fine on like 75 meters. It doesn't really matter. But with VHF, I just put up a VHF antenna. I've been, I'm omnidirectional, but I can tell, when I try repeaters in certain areas, the obstructions are definitely doing something. But yeah, that's a really cool setup. Kind of know what you're talking about, I could tell.
Thought I heard somebody in there. Is there a break in there? Yeah, no, it's just trying to figure out if you're on the east side. I'm just looking at the elevation. Scotts Mountain is about 1086 at the peak, and I don't know where that is. Where, like I said, where on the, I guess right where the towers are up there on whatever the hell that's, what's the road that comes up out of Washington, goes from the quick check down there to the other side, Harmony Road, or whatever the hell it is. It's been a long time since I lived up there. long time and a different wife. But that was years ago. But still, it was fun playing ham radio from up there. And it's a great location. So, but now I'm at about 965 here. And I got a pretty clean shot in about 360 degrees. I mean, maybe a 50-foot bump here and there, 100-foot here and there. But I don't know if you've looked at that site, www.heywhatsthat.com. It allows you to see, from your location, all the valleys and the hills, and it's pretty damn cool. I'm using that for trying to get a sense of where best to put my tower when I get that. So also, I was watching your Twitch last night. What's the delay on that? I mean, it looks like it's pretty substantial, like 20, 30 minutes, or I wasn't sure how to get live because I was listening for, I don't know, about an hour or two last night drinking bourbon, and you guys were chatting. I was trying to figure out the sync back and forth between Twitch.
Yeah, it varies. I'm running variable bit rate, variable frame rate, everything, so it can get real bad sometimes. The most I've ever heard was about 15 seconds. Sometimes it's around a second when it's really good, but like anywhere in there, definitely not 20 minutes, but it's anywhere between 1 and 15 seconds from what I can tell right now. Waiting. It looks like it's about 5 seconds right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I just went out there and I put your call sign in, and then I saw that it had something about getting thrown off AM Facebook or whatever, and I clicked on that. But it looked like it was last night's discussion. But I might have paused it and restarted it and just not yet figuring out the UI on Twitch, but I thought it said it was live, but who the hell knows?
Oh, well, yeah, if you saw that, you were probably on my videos. See, like, when you go to Twitch at the top, it'll say home, videos, clips, and followers. Not that I expect you to, remember this, but just for a general idea. At the top there, and you can click on those things. You click on videos. It's all past broadcasts and highlight videos I made, this and that. And you were probably watching one of those because I never named the feed I was banned. I named the video that, so that wasn't live. I probably wasn't live at that point. But if you go there and you click follow on the page, you'll get a notification to whatever email you signed up with that will just say hey, you just went live. And that's how most people get there, I see, from the analytics and stuff.
So do I have to log in? Because I was not logged in, and I just searched your call sign W2BTK, and then it gives me the link past videos. But when I did that, it was certainly last night's chat, because I was going back and forth, muting the 3885 here, and then listening to that, and Tim was on, and that's the same discussion. But like I said, I wasn't sure how to get in. But do I need to authenticate to get in, or can I just browse?
No, you can just browse. You don't need an account to watch the feed. You can just go and click on it and bring it up. In order to chat or follow the channel or interact or do anything, you do need an account. But just to watch, no, absolutely not.
All right, so now I'm in on, and by the way, is this the browser version, or are you using the fat client?
Well, when I use Twitch, it's usually in a browser. So yeah, I'm talking about the browser version. So if you load twitch.tv, well, no, you're on my page already, so it should load directly to home, and the feed should come up. You might have to press play or unmute it or something, but if you look up above where you would see the video, there's those little selections: home, videos, clips, followers. And when you're in the home selection, that's the live feed, if there is one, which there is right now.
All right, yeah, I'm on there now. And how do I know where I am delayed-wise? Where's a good way? My audio's muted.
Well, for me, I just watch the scope. Like, I just keyed up, and I'm looking. I'm still not keyed up on the feed here. So right there, I just keyed up. So however many seconds that was since I keyed up and set it, that's the delay I'm experiencing. But it could be different for you.
Got it. Okay, well, we'll check it out. But yeah, I mean, it looks like, it's got the live indication up there. But this is this is interesting, because this is the second time I've seen Twitch in a couple of weeks. I guess that's you waving there. And one of my buddies was working one of the contests. I forget which contest it was. It was last weekend or whatever, but it was I guess like the CW contest that they run every week. But it was really great to be able to see how he used various software, N1MM, touch with for contest. I know you guys are not CW guys and contesters, but to do that in some spare time. So this is pretty cool. How long have you been using this feed?
I've only been doing this stream for like maybe 2 or 2.5 weeks, so it's brand new. I'm just feeling it out. I've got, about 10 people that watch it regularly from what I can tell. And there's, like you can see, there's always people chatting and stuff. But I don't know, it could continue to grow or not. I'm not too sure how much interest like from Twitch there is. It seems like a lot of the people that watch are radio people who heard me on the air or saw, my radio posts on YouTube or something. But, I get a few trickles in from like Twitch people, non-radio people, and, I got to find a way to engage them is what I think. But yeah, about 2.5 weeks I've been doing this.
Oh no, man! I think it's great, and we do need a way to engage folks to get plugged in, and activity on the bands has been pretty darn good over the last since COVID-19, right? And I've been playing a lot of radio. I'm in the tech business, so working from home is no big deal. But for guys like yourself and the guys in the trades and stuff, it don't work, man. So hopefully we'll see some opening up, and guys are going to get back to work. But I don't know when that's going to be. My kids are in Manhattan. My daughter and my son-in-law, and they punched out once. Cuomo, or whatever the hell his name is, Cuomo and de Blasio said, we're not open in the city minimally till or New York till May 15th, and then New York City possibly until, July 4th. And they said, Dad, come get us. So we're quarantined for, I don't know, shit. I'm not supposed to say that. 28, 30 days and not leaving their place in the city. And now they're out here. Over to you, W2BTK, W2MKM.
Yeah, similar thing going on here, Ed. I mean, I'm in the trades. I'm an electrician, and I got my layoff right before Christmas, and then I went out and worked a couple of weeks on another job, a little short call. But since then, yeah, and then, the corona started ramping up. And I've been sitting basically in quarantine since then, So doing this Twitch stuff is pretty fun though. Like I'm actually kind of into it. I've been streaming pretty much every day. It's fun, to see people coming and going, watching. Got a little community here of people who want to see the show on 3885. And yeah, everybody's stuck at home, so stuff like this, radio feeds, this and that, I don't know, you probably see a lot of stuff like this right now. But it'll be interesting when I go back to work. I'll probably stay streaming, but maybe not every day like I have been doing, but as long as I'm here and able to do this, I mean, yeah, it's fun, man. It really is. I haven't seen a lot of, I mean, you mentioned one other guy who was doing some contesting on Twitch, but as far as ham radio goes, there's not a lot, and especially not a lot of AM activity. So I think this, might be it. I know Perry's got a feed up there, but he's kind of like an AFK stream, more of like a web SDR. I try to interact with people a little bit when I can, and be here when I'm streaming. So that's all. But yeah, it's there you go. Let me get off the key, or the amp is yelling at me. W2BTK.
B1PYE. W2BTK.
PYE, I think. Take it away. W2MKM.
W2MKM, B1PYE. Good evening, gentlemen. Heard you guys on here. Thought we'd get up and say hello. Running about 275 watts on a FRT 501 and R398, and just listening to your Twitch conversation. I got your Twitch feed up on the screen there. Bill or Bob, I can't remember. But anyway, great. Yeah, pretty cool. I like your setup. Pretty slick. Anyway, just wanted to jump in and say hello and give this thing a try on the meeting. Over to you, B1PYE.
Up in the static crashes in the QSB. I think it was Victor Echo 1 Papa Yankee Echo. What was your name? And do we have the call right?
Yeah, the name here is Jason, Juliet, Alpha, Sierra, Oscar, November. It's kind of rough up here tonight, so one of the static crashes over.
Roger, Jason, yeah. And your audio is just a little light tonight. So, yeah, we got you. Carrier looks good. So, thanks for checking in. Sounds like you logged into the Twitter. Yeah, the Twitter. The Twitch. It was a TW word, I know. So, but Billy, question: what do you need to stream? Is there a client that you need to install from Twitch to grab your screen, or what's? I'm curious because I like the tech.
Yeah, and hello, Jason. Thanks for stopping by the stream. And yeah, there's a client called Open Broadcast Studio, OBS, that you use, and you can use that to overlay whatever you want over video, add webcams, do that. It's really easy to use, and that's what I'm doing over here. And just to throw it out there, anybody who's watching the feed and enjoying themselves, if you follow the page, it kind of helps me out. My goal is to get 50 followers, and I'm real close. I'm at like 45. So if you like what you see and you're logged in, consider giving it a follow. Yeah, thanks. All right. And back over to Jason there.
Good. No, that's pretty cool, actually. It's probably about a 15 to 20 second lag here between your voice when you stop transmitting on the air.
Thank you so much, guys.
And when you stop showing up on your stopper on the screen there. So anyway, it's working pretty good. If you didn't have a radio, it'd be just fine. So yeah, I'm not logged on to Twitch, but I can create an account, give you another one for sure. But anyway, yeah, the static crashes up here tonight are pretty heavy, so there's quite a lot of storms off the coast, I noticed, and must be just the right distance away because I'm really getting hammered here this evening. But W2BTK, you have a great signal up here. You're almost full quieting at times, so it's really good to hear that nice AM quality on the air there. I turned up my audio from my mic just a touch there, so just let me know if that helps any there. Over.
Oh yeah, and you actually came up too. You're doing really well here right now.
Yeah, well, a lot of the stations down there aren't doing too bad, but the QSB is there, and then with that and the static crash, it's a little rough.
Yeah, wow, your SNR hit almost 50 dB on that last one.
W2JCC.
Saying something there or not?
Man, I heard two calls in there, like EJM I think I heard, and then I also heard JCC. Was that KC1EJM? Good evening. This is W2BTK. Yeah, I had a little trouble with that one. I didn't catch most of that. You're kind of like in my noise floor at times, popping out of there. Was anybody else able to hear that?
No noise here in the noise.
Okay, I think I heard you say you're in New Hampshire. Yeah, pretty low signal here in New Jersey in the noise. Oh, you're running QRP. No, yeah, it's well, it's QRP, but you're being heard. I mean, it's working here on Montana Mountain. Yeah, I wasn't able to get anything out of that last one. Well, all right, KC1EJM, you're in the log, and I'm sorry I can't hear you very well. It doesn't sound like anyone else is really picking you up, but I was able to hear. I got your call, heard you're in New Hampshire, so thanks for checking in. QRP, you know, you don't see that a lot on 3885. Very nice. Why don't we pick up JCC? I know he was trying to get in there too.
Hi everybody, this is W2BTK Nice to hear you guys. Sitting down here talking. Just got a 2-hour lecture on Zoom. But you sound really good. Both you guys are 20 over. Here to Croton on Hudson, New York. My name is Matt. And enjoying
Yeah, not bad. You took a fade at the end there, but it wasn't too bad. Good signal otherwise. You're sounding pretty well yourself. So, just kicking it back and forth. Are you hearing him okay?
Yeah, Matty, I'm having a hard time hearing you, Matty, but I'm, my receiving gear is, probably not as, similar to yours, bro. I'm using a Bublet, 150-ish, fed with open wire and a portal and Ballon, but I got a little bit of work to do because I'm getting some losses for a couple of reasons. I should probably run open wire to the shack, but I just can't figure that out right now. Matty, try it again. W2JCC, W2MKM.
Man, he disappeared into the noise. I'm gonna just have to watch the waterfall and see the MPs. I have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that. I was just watching the waterfall to see when the carrier dropped. The band just changed big time. Because you were in here, man, and then all of a sudden, poof, you're gone. I wonder if I'm fading too.
That was weird, Billy. I mean, we're line of sight, but it's left about 10 dB, 15 dB. No, nothing calling in there, ending with a verbal.
Wow, Ed, you're taking a dive too. That's what's going on here?
I looked at that like, what would I change, man? Because you were flying over, and then you're down 10 over, so something's going on.
Yeah, I think it's just conditions. We might be pretty long right now. Who knows? They could be hearing us way out there. But yeah, the local stuff is not very strong right now. So I don't know. We might have to give it a couple minutes. I hear you okay though, Ed. But I mean, just it's not like it was. You know.
Showing up in the video. So I'm going to go do a little bourbon and call it quits. I'm going to get a bourbon and I'll be back in a minute. W2MKM.
Yeah, all right, Ed. Bourbon sounds good. I don't have any of that laying around, but I do have some wine. I got a couple bottles of wine. Oh, and some tequila, but it's not a tequila night. I don't feel. So all right, you get yourself some bourbon, and I'll hold down the fort out here. So yeah, JCC was a rough copy. But man, when you came in there, you were strong. But then the band went long. Yes, long. So I don't know what to say. Anybody out there, how are you hearing me? I know I probably took a big dive too. This is W2BTK on Montana Mountain.
Still booming in up here, B1PYE.
All right, I heard 2 stations, K1CYE, I think it was on top there. So yeah, you're strong in here as well. Man, yep. Look, the guys on 80 are coming up. Hey, I wonder if that's Louie. Louie said I was doing good before. How am I doing now, Louie?
Well, we might have just booted out. What time is it? 10 o'clock? 10 o'clock. I haven't been streaming for very long, only under 3 hours. What's this going on? 3890. Looks like somebody's about to fire up the big old carrier on 3890. Well, I guess we could hang out, do slop bucket, something, I don't know, but all the AMers are gone.
This is W2BTK on Montana Mountain in New Jersey.
I don't know.
They're not that close, but I don't know. They're not the QSC. It would change the SMI.
Yeah, man, Ed, you were way in there before. Kind of in my noise now. I mean, not like in the noise. I still hear you, but it's it's not that easy. Chat's saying that I'm in the KFS SDR. That's out in California. I might check that.
Everything went along, huh? KFS SDR, I don't know about that one. I'm gonna look. But you're still 20 over, but static crash is pretty prominent.
Yeah, hold on a sec. Yeah, here it is. Hello. We're in the... So, hang on. There we go. California, California. Hello, hello. Wow. Hello. That's, yeah, look at that. I was making a little streak. All right. Hello, hello. Hey, JCC, thanks for the follow, man.
I think I saw that. Well, who knows? Propagation is but I have no idea the propagation between 10 miles. So you think we were doing a hop between Montana Mountain and 10 miles away?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. But I mean, compared to how you were coming in before and how you're coming in now, I mean, yeah, it's like you're a fraction of what you were.
I'm hoping I didn't blow anything up, but everything meters look good. Yeah.
I think it might be a combination of the band going long and the noise floor coming up. You know, it's just shifting around. Because sometimes you're like way down. That last one, not so much. It's just Mother Nature's all pissed off.
Yeah, I took the TV of attenuation out, and you're just in there at about F9 now. That's flashy, man. I've never seen that. I was going to ask you, what are you using as an SDR receiver? SDR Blade?
No, it's an SDR IQ made by a company called RF Space. And yeah, JCC said there's a G1 solar storm right now, and he can't hear me at all, which is that's crazy.
So everything is just getting absorbed. I'm just over here. I'm looking at the propagation conditions. Not that I would know how to read a solar storm. Magnetic field very quiet. K7, K1. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I would see this solar storm going on. Oh, yeah. More on the front page of a stealthy solar storm and meteor shower. I guess that's important.
Man, somebody's got a buzzy carrier in there. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not really too sure how to read all that K index and all that stuff. I looked it up once and I figured it out, but I didn't retain any of that information just because I don't look at that stuff often. I just get in and use my Skyburner antenna to talk to locals.
No, there's plenty of programs out there that'll interpret it and figure out where you've got the but I just It's like I was saying earlier, get four square, four verticals fed in, I guess two of them fed 90 degrees out of phase. And they would feed two of them 90 degrees out of phase and the other two plus 90 and minus 90. Anyway, long story short is it's working well. And project I started back in April last year. Digging the holes and all the rest of that stuff. Finally got to it. Still working and tending to the farm and all the rest of that stuff. But good to have that done. Next is thinking about a pair of 80-meter verticals, maybe an 80-meter four square, but also for 75. The current antenna is okay, but I think I got to pull out one of these screws that is tucked in where the feed point is, and possibly cut the amount of coax. I got about 150 feet of coax, RG213 to a 4-to-1 balance, which then goes to the ladder line up to 154 feet of Dublin. So a little bit of work to do there.
Yeah, wow. You got real antennas, or man, an 80-meter four square. Yeah, you could you'll do DX with that. Jeez. Yeah, I'd love to do something like. I don't have as much room as you. It doesn't sound like. I'm about an acre over here, but I could still do towers and stuff. I've got a 60-foot crank up that is laying in my driveway. I need to get that up. Pretty soon. I'm saving up for concrete money. Saving up with no job. I've been laid off, like I said, but yeah, that's in the works, and that'll help me get this dipole up. I'm only about, maybe 40 foot at the feed point right now, which somehow is like some magic. Whatever my antenna's doing, it's working better than it should. I get out here with like 10 watts in the daytime and talk to everybody. It's like it's pretty cool, but it sounds like you got some real stuff going on over there. I'd like to check that out sometime, but I'm probably going to actually call it quits here in a few moments and go take care of what needs to be taken care of around the house. I've been doing a radio thing for about 3 hours now, which is good. We'll be back tomorrow night, Conditions are rough as well, so I'm going to give it a rest for a little bit. Who knows? I might get up in the middle of the night and fire up again. You never quite know, but Ed, man, it was really cool catching you out here. I had no idea I had a neighbor that close who was that into stuff, who's talking about putting up four squares and stuff like that. That's really cool, man. I just moved up here about 2.5 years ago, so at some point maybe I'll be able to put the handshake on you after all this pandemic crap is over with, and yeah, real nice meeting you, man. So W2MKM from W2BTK. I'm gonna listen out for a second and ride on out into the sunset. So we'll catch you later.
All right, Billy. Yep, W2BTK W2MKM. Yep. Come on over and we'll figure out where antennas are going to go. I got a crank up in the works for, it's supposed to be in the works for this year. I want to put up a 90-footer. But that's got a bit of engineering to it, so I'll probably work on some of the DIY projects. I got a 20-meter wire beam probably coming up next. So, but yeah, we'll get over this and come on over the summer. Drink a couple of beers. My little brewery that I got down on the farm with pretty good beer. Most of it's good, some of it's okay. The last couple of batches are good. And talk radio and all kinds of other stuff. So All right, good night. And I'm going to call Cliff, I think, as well. W2BTK W2MKM.
Sounds good, man. Talk to you later.
Alright, guys. Ooh, Textomatic. I'm gonna call it quits there. The band is in rough shape. So we'll come back and try it tomorrow. Hope you guys had fun tonight. If you're watching, you enjoy it. And you're not following, consider hitting that follow button. It lets me know that you're having a good time and that I should keep doing stuff like this. So, with that, see y'all later. It's been fun, and we'll see you next time. Peace.